Did you have any trepidation about jumping into another Stephen King project?
Just answer that question.
Do it again.
Yeah, there was initially going into it, I was a little bit reluctant to, because they didn't give me. Everything was very secretive about this project. Everything was kept under wraps, and they just reached out in interest. Just a short description of the character, no description of the show really, just that it was a multiverse sort of, or Stephen King sort of universe sort of show, and so I was reluctant. So I was like, I just did something that within that world, and I don't know how this interferes with the hit narrative really. And but as soon as they allowed me to read the pilot, that all changed. I fell in love with the show. I thought it was an amazingly strong pilot, and I met Sam and Dusty, the writers, and just loved those guys. And at that point, I was like, I'm in. I really want to do this. So.
Is it one of those situations where, like you said, it was secretive? Once you get the part, do you get more details about the character and know where he's going, or do they kind of leave you in the dark episode to episode as you're
They tried. They tried a little bit, but they told me, even just in the meeting before I got the role, they told me sort of a little bit about the character, but they didn't tell me where it was going, or they didn't explain the mystery to me. And once I got the job, it was really important for me to know what my character knew in every given point. So I've heard stories on TV shows. You never do this on film, obviously, because you get to read the whole script. And what we're doing is it's a 10-hour film. So to me, I didn't know why you would not tell your actors the whole thing, because that's how you do when you work on stage or film or whatever, anything really. But it's a different thing because writers also write as the show's going on, so things change, they change, so the story actually changes as you're shooting it. So I know, and it's a question for the writers more so, but they see the dailies of what we're doing with the character, and they go, "Oh shit, that's cool." Like maybe, and then that affects the actual things. So it's an organic progress. It's molding itself as you're going along. But like I said, important for me to know what my character knows at every given point, and what the motivations is for any given scene. Because otherwise, otherwise it's like I'm gambling on hitting the right tone if I don't know what tone I'm trying to strive for. So
I have to share a story with you from New York Comic Con, and we did the interview, and you talked about being very haunted by the actual prison and the place where it was located.
Yeah.
So while we were filming that interview, as you were speaking about that, our camera went completely wonky, and some really crazy stuff happens in the background.
Really?
So it's on YouTube. And I thought that was how much of that stuck with you after the filming, because you had mentioned just that place was haunted, and there's almost a vibe that was, all around the actual set like that. I thought that was the craziest thing on watching the feedback, and that actually happened.
Wow, that is creepy. Maybe I am haunted. I've never seen a ghost, so I don't really believe in them. But yeah, no, shooting at that prison was it's just prisons, man. Like just a prison in of itself is a terrible place, and yeah, that's freaky.
Absolutely.
What was it about the character that you really latched on to? What was your entry point into figuring out who he was?
It's a weird one because I can't tell you exactly everything because I'd spoil too much of it. But it's a weird one where it's there's a lot of sort of different layers to the characters, almost like it's different characters within the character. And they all had different. I had to have different approaches to finding the different layers. But initially going into it, it was really important that he's been in isolation for a very long time. So researching sort of what solitary confinement does to one's psyche, and trying to imagine what it would have been like to been in there for that long, and how strange and terrifying it would be to interact with people again after being there. So there's a version of the character that's like this, but it's not as aesthetically, like the tone of the character had to have sort of a calmness in it, and there's without giving too much away, there's a psychological explanation for why he's calm. But those things were really important to figure out. Sort of, looking someone in the eyes might be really weird and overwhelming, and physical space is just it's almost suffocating. So all of those things were really intriguing and fun to explore.
How many King books have you read? And in prepping for this, leaning back into those, are some King narratives more helpful to you in finding the tone of this than others?
Yeah, I mean, maybe 5 or 6 of his books, and reading this, like, Needful Things, because it's set in Castle Rock, and Alan Pangborn is a character that's recurring in the show as well, and it's just fun it's more fun than anything. I think it was more important for the writers to, they, in a way, adapted all of his books into the show. So for me, it was like, what's important is the tone is like the show is what we're doing. So, which is in a news story. So I needed to be truthful. Like, my tone needed to be respectful to the truth of the show, as opposed to be respectful to books of Stephen King. So it's different that way. I mean, with the book was like a Bible to me, because that was like the source material that we were adapting. So all the little clues I could get from Stephen King's words about who the character is was little things that I sort of did detective work to sort of make the truth of the character. So that's different. But it's a new thing that's inspired by rather than adapted.
As you continue to delve into this character, is there anything you're surprised to learn about yourself as an actor?
No, I mean, if anything, with Pennywise, it was like, that was such an overwhelming experience that I feel like that I was like, all right, I have to like really go for it here. So I was like committed, like going for it, like really doing bold choices, and I think it paid off and it worked. So that made me sort of like, all right, more confident in committing to bigger choices. That makes sense. So I did that with this character as well, and it can backfire at times, and probably will backfire at times. But it's fun to explore, to be more bold and commit to more characters. Andre's like a straight up professional, like theater school actor, and it's always a pleasure working with that sort of caliber of actor that really committed, really smart, and really talented. And the relationship, they have a relationship that my character has a connection to Henry, and I can't tell you what that is, but you'll have to see the show. But the show, towards the end of it, the mystery is revealed, and you'll find out how these two characters are intertwined. All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.